think Ellen is ready to go. Ellen Daniels, Executive Director, Mississippi Book Festival. Ellen, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Gallo. How are you?
It's good to see you. Thank you very much. It's Paul. You don't have to call me Mr. Gallo. It makes me feel like I'm older than the 35 years old that I am.
Well,
here's a book that I'm reading, and I just wanted to mention, it took me an example or a chance to do this. Nothing to Lose, and I did also put this on X, tweeted it also. It's the memoirs of J.L. Holloway, and limited edition, and it's a great book, and I hope to have him on. But it's amazing the life that the gentleman has led. But I thought it was a good time to mention that during the book festival. Tell me about it.
So we will be on September 14th this year. We have a new date for our 10th anniversary, which is this year. Last year we had a great festival. It was bigger than it was in 2022, which was our first year back in person.
Did you say September?
I did.
We doing this kind of early?
No, so we used to do it in August on the
No,
3rd.
I'm talking about the interview. This is March.
Well, we just had our kind of kicked off our 10th anniversary celebration. So, and we've just announced our first round of authors.
Ah,
And since you brought up Mr. Holloway, I will tell you something that we haven't told anybody else. He is coming to the festival, and that is a great book that you are reading.
yes,
It is an incredible story.
So I kind of broke some news here then.
You did.
Well, since it is that late, you're going to have to get back with us before it gets in here in September.
I would love that.
All right, now tell me what this is about for people who've never been, what they need to do, et cetera, et cetera.
So, first of all, you need to sign up for our email list on msbookfestival.com. That will keep you up to date on all of the festival happenings. We send out regular email blasts with all the information. And when we get closer to time on September 14th, we'll kind of send out an email about everything you need to know about the day of. So we are on Saturday, September 14th, and we take place in our state capitol building and Galloway United Methodist Church, and the grounds all in between there. It is free and open to the public because the love of reading should be free and open to everyone. And there's something for everybody at the Mississippi Book Festival.
How long have you guys been doing this?
Well, we kicked it off on the Capitol steps with John Grisham and the Sonic Boom of the South from JSU in 2015.
2015. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed the crowds getting larger or smaller?
They are definitely getting larger. So I will say in 2019 we had our highest attendance ever. That was our fifth anniversary. Well, then the next year was 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
So that stopped that, and then in 2021 we had to cancel the festival 10 days out to the festival date because of the Delta variant. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like restarting this huge machine in 2022. But we've grown the past two festivals, even with the heat topping out at 104 degrees last year. Our crowds were bigger than 2022.
I got to ask you, because we have it's almost like cursive. It's just kind of going away. But if you don't start, and here's another analogy that's popping into my mind. Yesterday's doctor who was on talking about peanut allergies. Mm-hmm. If you feed the kids peanuts early, then they will not be allergic. This is almost, you've almost got to train kids and give them that love of reading a book early, because if you don't have a chance.
I completely agree with you, and that is one of the big things, one of our big missions with the festival.
Yeah.
So the couple of days, the week leading up to the festival, we have student programming going on. We're taking authors around to schools, putting free books into the hands of those children, and the biggest thing is we have our Kid Note event, and that is where we get like a superstar kids author at Thalyamara with public areas, public school children from around the area for an in-person, just engaging experience with that author. And then, they have a great time, and they have no idea as they leave Thalyamara, they're getting a copy of the book that they just heard about. And, COVID wasn't great, but it did teach us some things, and we all learned about Zoom. And so now we're able to Zoom those sessions into classrooms all across the state, which is an ability, we didn't really know about before we got all this COVID knowledge. And so in all of those kids who see it in their classrooms, they get copies of the book sent to their school libraries. In 2022, we reached over 22,000 kids around the state with our Kid Note event. And so that was really remarkable and a great, a great achievement for us.
Got to worry about, the next Hemingway, the next Welty, who have the talent out there, and if it's not cultivated, that they won't even think about becoming authors or try it. And what a tremendous waste. Do you see more people? Is it catching on as far as the digital books, et cetera? Or is that just not making the progress that we thought it would?
I really don't think it. Certainly a lot of people read like ebooks and listen to books, but there is something about holding a physical book, and I am such a book junkie, I would say. I worked at Lemuria Bookstore here in Jackson for, about 13 years. Mm-hmm. I want a real book. I want to smell it. I want the satisfaction of turning a page. And then, they're like my trophies. I mean, my entire house is covered in books. I remember one day my husband, he just goes, "You're going to keep buying books and you're not going to get rid of any of these." I was like, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
Yes. I have a collection of so many of the authors that we've had on over the years, and I haven't done that in a while, but we had so many authors on and some great books. But I find myself going back and reading them more than once, or if not, maybe it's because of the show, if I have a particular guest on and it's something in one of the books, you go back and I've made notes. Nobody wants to read my books when I throw them away because they're underlined, there are notes out beside them, and they're certainly not for resale.
I love people's marginalia. I love seeing what people, find interesting and point out and stuff.
So what else do we need to know about this?
Well, so we just made our first author announcements on Wednesday. And I hope that you've read this person. He is incredible. I mean, as far as reading a historical book that is so engaging. Eric Larson, he wrote The Devil in the White City, In the Garden of Beast. He is coming with his newest book, which of course I'm forgetting the title of right now. But it is all about those pivotal 6 months between when Abraham Lincoln was elected and the beginning of the Civil War.
Wow.
And Eric Larson, I mean, he is, as big as it gets when you talk about writing history, because it is so narrative and it's not just dry facts. I mean, he really makes a story out of it. And you learn something, so that's incredible. He's been to Jackson before, and he is so beloved, so we are really, really excited to get him to the festival.
It's not to say that we don't have a lot of great authors still active in this state.
Yes. So, something that I say often is, Mississippi is the cradle of life for so many titans in literature. And we're all standing on the shoulders of those giants. But we have got such a contemporary line of giants and legends that are native to this state. I mean, the most obvious thing that comes to mind, John Grisham.
Yeah.
I mean, when he writes a book, I mean, people are just, totally losing their cool trying to get it. I mean, somebody would have to pay me to stop writing those things if I were him.
Has he had one out lately?
Oh, yeah, he's got one every year.
Oh, he does?
Mm-hmm, pretty
much.
It's
not getting the publicity for some reason.
Well, it's just now everybody expects it. I mean, they don't really have to do as much PR as they once had to do. I mean, because he is a household name. Anybody
at the festival, and I'm sure you got some young authors want to pick the brains about the publishing world today, which is as different as the recording world today. That there's just so many things, and giving them a little advice on that.
My best suggestion for kind of burgeoning authors is get yourself an agent and somebody and a good editor. People think you just write a book. Some people think you just write a book and then you just send it on, you sell it, and that's it. There is a tremendous editing process. And for all those Star Wars fans out there, what I liken editing to is they're like the Jedis of the publishing world. They completely dedicate their lives to moving forward.
Can you hang on a minute?
Yeah.
Because some valuable advice there. From Ellen Daniels, Executive Director, Mississippi Book Festival. We'll spend more time coming up next. It is right now Ellen Daniels, Executive Director. The Mississippi Book Festival, and we're talking about just some advice that they might gather and get at the book festival, talking to some of the authors. But I'll let you end on that one. Some of the advice is for as budding authors out there.
Yeah, so as I was saying, get yourself an agent and a very good editor. A book really comes to life with a good editor. Sometimes I'll read a book and I'm like, ugh, their editor really let them down. They should have kind of helped them flesh that out a little bit more. So that's really, really important. There's so much to it, and from what I understand, I have a great respect for authors. I don't know how they do it. I can't think of anything that sounds more difficult to me than writing a book, but it is a daily practice, and you just have to, even when you're blocked, I think you just have to go put something on the page, just so that you have done it.
Let me ask your advice on this one, because you see it all the time. I think they run some commercials periodically. Just send us your book. That's all you've got to do, and we'll take it from there. If we accept the book, we'll take it from there. But man, that's an open pit. I mean, you don't know where that's going to go, because I've heard people tell me that they'll charge you $100 for rewriting a chapter, or $100 to rewrite a page, and you sink yourself in a deep hole. You don't know who you're getting in bed with.
No, you don't. You need to. Surely there's a contract involved with that, and you need to have somebody who is familiar with contract law look that over.
I'm picking your brain here, but you're the good person to do that with. A guy by the name of Thomas Harris. Thomas was born in Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
And Thomas had and I've got the book, and it's Black Sunday, and I've read it a long time ago, read it a couple times. Somebody asked me, was a movie ever made out of that? And I honestly don't know if a movie was made out of Black Sunday. It was a blimp was going to be over the Super Bowl and attack the people at the Super Bowl. And it was an amazing book. A little scary, to be honest with you.
I feel like I would remember that
Me
movie.
too. That's
that
exactly
movie.
what I said. If it was a movie, I think I would remember it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I feel like I would remember that. That sounds like a Michael Bay movie. Maybe he needs to be made familiar with that book.
Any final thoughts here? Because we talk about great artists or great authors, from William Faulkner, Richard Wright. You could go. Greg Iles has been on the program more than once.
He has.
Willie Morris. And it's amazing.
Greg Iles has got his final, I think it's the final book in the Pen Cage series. It's called Southern Man. It's about 900 pages, and I believe it's coming out.
Yes.
It is tremendous, but
it's a weapon.
It is a weapon. Publishers send out what they call advanced reader copies, and they're paperback books that they send to booksellers and bookstagrammers, which is a new thing that happened during COVID. And I'm telling you, it is a doorstopper. And it's paperback. So to imagine what the hardback is going to be like is pretty unbelievable.
First time I've done that with Greg, because we always like to have the book and give me a couple of 3 weeks to read it, and he sent that one. I said, no. There's no way I'm going to be able to read that one in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, but a great talent.
He is, and he's a great guy. We love him at the Mississippi Book Festival as well as the entire state. But, we've announced our first 7 authors for the festival, but there are many, many more authors to add to our lineup. Last year we hosted 169 authors at the festival, so we got a long way to go. So keep watching our social media and our emails.
Once again, it's going to be in September, and what you need to know to do now, one more time, from Ellen Daniels.
You need to sign up for our email list at msbookfestival.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and X, or wherever you take in your news, and we'll be on there, and we'll keep you updated.
Send us some good authors, and we'll see. We used to do this on a Friday, and the last segment on Friday, and maybe a good idea to get back, because we need to push some of the authors in this state. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it very much.